everybody. The entrance of Johnny Boy. Welcome to the Focus Warrior podcast, the John and Aaron experience. How you doing, brother?
Brother, 'tis the season to work your ass off.
Oh, bro, Merry Christmas to everyone, because I know that this will be
Yes.
dropping pretty much Boxing Day Australia time. So Merry Christmas. I hope you've all had an amazing time, friends and family, and just sat in the moment of love and happiness. That's what the day's for. Celebrate it.
All we want.
Yeah.
That's all we want, brother. I love it. Definitely time.
So,
Yeah,
man,
matter of fact,
if you're not on YouTube yet, you just gotta jump on YouTube. John waltzes in, cool little entrance, stud that he is, just walking in like he's fucking owning the place. So yeah, jump onto YouTube if you
yeah.
haven't already. We've been on there for a little while now, so you can see our handsome faces. But
Yes, sir.
enough of
Yes,
that.
sir.
Enough of that. And look, today's podcast is brought to you by Endless Watch Code, Limitless Apparel, the Awaken Warrior Program, and Focus 20. Dude, all of that, 100%. So without your support, we wouldn't be doing this. So please share the show. Not only sharing the show, but also support us. Support us in any way that you can. So, John, what's going on, man? Talk to me. How's life?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. What in good old fashion that we do, man, we always catch up before these podcasts, fire up the brain, get the cells moving. So you know what, bro?
Yep.
Today was good, man. Today was really good, and I want to share this with the people. So, I want to talk a little bit about this, man, where you were talking earlier tonight about sweating the small stuff. And have you heard that age-old saying? I'm sure everybody has, don't sweat the small stuff. But prime example of that would be letting something that is so small not bother you, move along. You know what? It'll figure itself out. What do you say in Australia? Should be all right.
She'll be
Should
right,
be all
mate. She'll be right.
right. But Aaron, all that being said, bro, you did a prime example offline. You said somebody sits there and punches you in the arm. Maybe the first couple times don't hurt. Then after a while it starts to bug you. Next thing you know, you're just getting irritated. That's the small stuff. It's the same type of thing. It's the small things that eventually bubble up and absolutely destroy. It could destroy our day, our week, our month, relationships. If you don't nip it in the bud, guess what? Why is it that we feel like we just don't need to sweat the small stuff, bro?
I don't know about you, but like for me, I tend to do that. I tend to go, all right, it's not such a big deal. I put it in a couple of categories, either something that I can control or something that I can't. If it's something I can't control, I'm like, you know what? It is like to a degree, it is what it is, but at the same time, what was the lesson in it? All right, move on, learn from it, and let's go. Let's move on to the next thing. I don't want it to slow me down. I don't want to sit there and, contemplate over something that's not necessarily a big deal. Yeah, if it's going to affect my way moving forward, absolutely, I deal with it then. But you're right. I tend not to sit there and I tend not to sweat about the small stuff. But when those small things just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and you've got that attitude of like, oh, just don't worry about it, move on. What you're doing over time is that you're suppressing emotion or suppressing a reaction or repressing emotion over time. And and hey, man, we've had this conversation many times. What happens when you're constantly suppressing emotion or repressing emotion? You become a pressure cooker, and all of a sudden you're going to fucking explode. So that was me this week. It was me. Like over the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's just been probably yeah, good 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. It's been a constant things that just haven't gone right. It's constant this, and then there's that, and then there's something else, and then there's something else. And you're right. I look at it and go, all right, it's not a big deal. Let's just keep moving on. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep hustling. Let's do the work. Like, do what you know you need to do. Make sure you do your hit list. Like, do all the things every single day you need to do. Just don't worry about it. But when it's a constant, I'm going to be like everyone else. At some point, you're going to go, I can't keep fucking doing this. I can't
Yeah.
keep going down this line. And this is something I always ask. I'm asking my clients, I'm asking myself, I'm asking the world through social media. It's like, at what point does life or things need to get to before you start to realize I can't keep doing this?
Yeah.
Like, how much pain do you need to experience before you realize I can't keep doing this? So for me, it was a little bit like, I've made the change, made the move to to a new place, and it just felt like I needed to be honest of, okay, why did I move here? I needed to be honest with myself on that, and that was a hard realization. But I think at the same time also that's opened up the path of where I'm going next. So
Mm.
it's a really really interesting one. And yeah, like you also have a look at the people that don't sweat the small stuff. They're stuck in mediocrity. Like they're stuck in that average lifestyle. They're stuck in that, like, this is all that life's given me. It's like, no, it fucking isn't. We're so full of abundance. Every single one of us has the same opportunities as everyone else. It takes that mindset to go, you know what? Okay, cool. This is what's happened. What do I need to do to move forward and overcome that? So I look at it and I go, neither of us, no one's oppressed. No one's oppressed. It's your decision that is allowing you to stay stuck. So I look at
Mm.
it and go, all right, I can either stay where I'm at and keep getting fucking punched in the arm, or make a decision to move, get away from the punch in the arm, and that's where I'm at in my life right now. So
Brother, that's so good, man. I believe truly that we all have that capability. And I'll even say, Aaron, I am in a very similar place that I've recently discovered some of those moves that I need to make.
mm,
And it's so humbling because you never think about it because you keep doing the same thing over and over,
yeah,
expecting a different result. And what do they call that?
so
Insanity,
true,
right?
so fucking true.
But Aaron, I don't, this is the thing, bro. I want to come from a place of love on this, man, because this is the thing. I think there's truly some people that just don't see a different way.
Mm,
And I mean this, man, because I don't know if this happens to you, Aaron, but there's certain things that you have as a routine that you do every day,
mm.
right? And when somebody goes, "Hey, have you ever tried?" No, I haven't. This is my routine. This is what I do. But if you tweak it just a little, and dude, I love this, Aaron, because I can talk about this all day with you from a gym
Yep.
perspective. When you see people lifting a certain way, hey, have you just thought, stand like this, or put your shoulders back, or whatever it is, feel the difference. It's like discovering water for the first time, bro.
But also, I've had people that come up to me and they look at me and go, "No, no, I've always done it this way."
Ah,
But you know what? Okay, but here's the thing. My question to them, and it doesn't matter, like whether it be in the gym, whether it be in life or whatever. My question to them is, how's that working out for you?
how's it working out for
How's that
you?
working out for you? You
Yes.
use that one, and they're like, then they all of a sudden have to think about it, like, fuck, hang on, nothing's changed. But there's only a few people that will look at it and go, yeah, nothing's changed. Not many people see it from a wider lens. Like people are kind of so stuck in that tunnel vision. It's like, nah, this is the way that I've always done it. But how's that
Yeah.
working out for you? It'll be fine. She'll be right. All that fucking, all that. So I always throw that back on them. And if I can get them to all of a sudden pause and think, I'm like, okay, I got you. I got you thinking. And that's exactly the place where you need to be looking at going, all right, I got you thinking. Now you can come from a place of honesty. Now you can come from a place of truth. Now you can stop fucking lying. So it's like, all right, let's go. So I fucking love it from my point of view.
Yeah, yeah. And bro, I don't want to say every single part of your life has to be those moments, right? It's just the moments that you struggle with.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to, man, is it whether it's financial, whether it's the gym, whether it's relationships, whatever it is that you struggle with, that's such a good question, Aaron. Is how's that working out for you? Because it's not you telling me what to do.
Yeah.
It's you going, hey, just curious, have you thought about it? You've been doing it the same way for the last year with minimal result or with no result or
Mm,
negative
mm.
results. How's that working? And man, but that's the thing, Aaron, if that's what it takes, bro, if that's what it truly takes for somebody to just go, man, Aaron really pissed me off today, but he made a good point.
And that's
Then you're good.
and
You
yeah,
won.
that's it. You know what? And I think at the same time with us being coaches, if we're not triggering someone to start thinking from a different angle, we're not doing our job right.
Right.
So yeah, I actually
Because triggering is a good point. The way to say it, Aaron, is it's not us going, I'm going to tell you that you suck and that you're this and you're that.
mm,
No, I'm just
mm.
going to attack your brain respectfully and say, have you ever thought about? if you started doing this,
Mm.
what this would do. Have you ever thought about that for just a moment? Hence the reason why, Aaron, like you say, man, it's a full program that we run. It's over multiple sets of weeks. It's very, very intentional work that you have to sit down and focus on. You can't just go, here's my answers, Aaron. Thank you. Bye. What do we need to do to fix
Mm.
it? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Got to dig in some layers, man.
Yeah.
You
And it's not a
know?
cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter. And we need to also realize it's no different to me giving someone a squat. Everyone's built different. Everyone's limbs are different sizes. People are going to move and squat differently. No different to the thought process of everyone. The thought processes of everyone is different based on, again, limiting beliefs, based on, through their childhood, like traumas, all of that kind of stuff that you bring through in your own life. There's all of those. So as a coach, I want to find out. And look, with me being a body talk coach as well, like from a physical perspective, how you move and what you do, I know whether or not you're holding stress or also what your belief story is.
Wow.
Either there's a limiting belief that you've got the let's fucking go attitude, or you're holding yourself back. And you can just see by the effort and you can see by the way that you train. And also, if I have a look at the way that your body's moving, whether or not you're finding a hack, you're finding that least resisted path and you're not trying to make it easy and you're relying on your dominant muscles to do the movement. Or if you're holding on to stress, whether it be internal or external stress, I can see through your shoulders. I can see by the way you move. Like if you're trapped dominant and your shoulders are like this, I know, okay, why is that? Why are you constantly using your shoulders? Okay, well, it's thing that they're engaged all the time. So if your traps are engaged all the time, okay, I know that people will hold stress in the shoulders and in their lower back. So from that perspective, it's like, okay, if your traps are engaged, you're holding on to stress. What are you holding on to? Is it an internal stress, which is a belief pattern, a story that you're telling yourself, or it's an external stress, whether it be work, whether it be relationships, whether it be money, whatever it is. So for me as a coach, that's what I can identify literally straight away by looking at you. So from that perspective, then I need to open, like peeling back the onion, I need to keep asking the questions. And you do this very well. You want to ask the question, why? At least 6 times. So when you do that and you ask the why question, you're the person in front of you has to now start fucking thinking differently. So I love it from that perspective. I really love it that, when I have a look at people's internal processes based on what's happening external. And the other thing I want to briefly talk on is that when you're at dis-ease, so when you're unbalanced, when you're out of alignment, your body will tell you that, whether it be through pain, whether it be through an injury, or whether it be through an illness. Either one of those, and there's probably a few more as well, but they're the main ones. So, like, if you have an injury, okay, well, okay, what's that thought process? Why are you at disease? If you've got like an injury through your knee based on the left or right knee, okay, well, why is that? We've got a masculine side, we've got a feminine side. So, like, if you've got a left knee, okay, well, the feminine side, like with your left knee. When you also have a look at your knee or your joints, all right, it's lack of mobility or lack of movement. All right, well, why? Why are you not moving? So what's going on from an emotional perspective as well? So I look at it from all of those angles based on, the muscle imbalances and whatnot, but I look at it from an emotional, spiritual perspective as well, based on our masculine and feminine. But like it's not always an external masculine, feminine. It's an internal thing as well, because we all have that internal battle between our masculine side and our feminine side. Hence, society has emasculated men. So we're losing our masculinity because we're not being those leaders and actually leading from the front because society is shunning us on that. So this is where you need to really start tuning into who you are and listening to that inner voice and listening to that soul and going, no, this is the person I am, and fucking stand in that power.
I think the other part too, Aaron, to call out on this is that, when beginning of our podcast, we said that this was sweating the small stuff, right?
Mm,
But I think primarily the way that we need to look at this is not put a label on anything, any of the
mm,
stuff, if you will. Putting a label on it means that you're now categorizing the big problem versus the little problem.
mm.
You're titling every single thing, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think we need to do that, bro. I
No, you
think
don't.
everything
Agreed.
needs equal attention. I think everything needs to, whether you, because as soon as you start putting big versus small problems, oh, this one can wait, but I really need to handle this one.
Mm,
And I think they all just need their own attention. I
yep.
think they all need their own space. And I think we need to not, you and I said this a little bit earlier, was not making something, what is it, a mountain out of a molehill? That's the best way I can describe it, right? Is not a certain situation that you may be in, not elevating it to this amazing thing. And bro, I'm speaking from a good side too, right?
Mm,
This is
mm,
not just bad problems, so to speak. It's any problem that you have.
mm.
If you start labeling all of them, now all of a sudden you have all these categories on what's going to get your attention. Oh, this really good happened today, so now I'm flying on cloud nine. Well,
Yep.
here's the problem with that. Eventually, you're going to come crashing down because that bad problem that you have is now going to get you.
Yep.
So it's better to have everything lined up so that it all gets its own time so that you can stay even. I truly believe, Aaron, that, especially when you get the best news ever, man, because we've all been there, right?
Yep.
Best news ever, greatest news ever. What is that? It's a dopamine hit, it's a feel good. And next thing you know, you're on top of the world. Everybody gets me. Everybody understands me. I'm the number one this and I'm that. Bro, all of a sudden you're just flying too high up, and next thing you know, you're gonna come crashing down. No
100%.
different than you get the worst news ever, and you just dive into depression and anger and fear and all these other things. It's all made up right here because we're now putting categories on every single thing. And bro, we just got to stop doing that, man.
I agree. I agree. And that's where the ego's like, thank you. The ego's getting fed as well. So yeah, that's a really interesting place to be. So I really want people to assess where their life is at. And one thing I want them to assess is, like, are you truly, living in your alignment? Are you truly living in purpose? Are you truly doing what just brings you joy? Or are you just doing what you're doing for a survival perspective? And look, I get it.
Yeah,
I get that life's really tough at the moment for a lot of people around the world. I get it. But at the same time,
including us,
also,
Aaron, including us, brother. Every day, man, we go through it. So we're right there with them.
yeah, absolutely. It's like we're not any different with the struggle. What we have learnt is being able to face the struggle with a different lens, and not a victim mentality as well. So we've actually learned to look at it and go, okay, well, yeah, how do I move past this? How do I use this as an opportunity to become a better version of myself? And that just makes you a stronger person, so you can deal with the stuff when they come up, and it no longer becomes a different, no longer becomes a problem. And I don't want to put it in the same category, but the I guess the scenario or the example I can use is that when you lose a loved one, the pain is still there, and over time you can deal with the pain. Over time, it's not that you're masking it; the pain's always there. It just doesn't affect you on a day by day. It doesn't run your day like it does when you first lose someone for the first few months. For the first 6 months, for the first 12 months, it tends to, it tends to lead your life for a while because you're in so much hurt and so much pain. But over time, we can deal with that pain. And over time, we can use that as a fuel to move forward in whatever we want to use it for. So,
Yeah, man. No, and I fully agree with you, Aaron. And that's the thing, as somebody, I mean, both of us have experienced that, as most people, most of our audience has as
mm,
well. And I will just say this, man, I think it's just everybody's journey, from that perspective on when you can move forward and what you do next with it. But I think that's the biggest thing that I learned in my grief journey is looking for what I was going to do next, not looking into the future, not trying to plan everything, but what was I going to do next?
mm,
Because that's really honestly the only feeling and emotion that I had. So I don't want to take it off topic, Aaron, or digress, but I will say this, man, is it's just one of those things where we have to put all these things just in even play. That's the one thing that I'll say is when you brought this up earlier and you talked about sweating the small stuff, I went, man, that's so true.
yep,
Because everything seems to have categories. And I think that's why we go, money is good, money is bad. This feeling,
mm,
this person really made me mad, which we talked about that before. No, no, nobody can make you mad. You're just now internalizing whatever it was that you were angry about and now
mm,
blaming somebody. So there's so many different ways and so many different directions we can go with this, man. But I think at the end of the day, you're gonna have a day. Whatever day you decide to have is on you. That's why I said, well, have a good day. Oh, my day has been bad. Why has it been bad? Okay, can we go back through that? And that's why, honestly, man, I talked about this in one of our podcasts before, is journaling at the end of the night, gratitude journal at the end of the night instead of the beginning, because it really does allow you to go through that day. So I think I said it last week or the week before, but it's just so good because it allows you to kind of calm down on maybe it really wasn't that bad of a day, but this one incident might have just pissed you off. And hey, that's allowed.
Mm, mm,
Nothing wrong with that.
yep.
But does it have to destroy your whole day or your whole next day? Or I think that's where I come from, man, on that. So that's all I got to say on that. But this was good, man. This
That's a
you got this one.
That's a perfect ending. And I think so many more people should journal. I don't think people realize the power behind it. And especially at the end of the day, like then we kind of, and when you are journaling at the end of the day, you look at something that's pissed you off and you're like, I went through the whole fucking day holding on to that. And so like
Yeah,
it would have just spoiled the rest of your day. But then when you put it down on the journal, you're like, okay, it's not such a big deal. And I love it also that, yeah, and that I want to end with, I love it that not everything needs to be categorized. You don't need to
right.
categorize everything based on an emotion,
Yeah,
you know? And hey, you're right. Let's not sweat the small stuff. Nip it in the bud. Like, deal with it, what you need to do. We already know, internalize, we already know what that next move is. We just need to have that courage to fucking do it and just like go with your gut, go with the feeling, and just, man, just jump in. Like I say that often. It's like, just jump in. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? We'll be in the same fucking place. So, love it, brother.
yeah.
Thank you,
Love it,
man.
man. That's good. Good stuff, brother.
It was a good, quick
Appreciate it
one.
as
Love it.
always, man. And once again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you get some really good downtime with the family. Everybody is well deserving of that. And absolutely freaking lutely, my brother. Appreciate you as always.
Likewise, man. And yeah, cherish the moment, cherish your loved ones. Yeah, both John and I, our Christmases are different. But hey, we've connected for a reason. I'm going to leave that offline. We kind of realized how, again, parallel our lives are, which is really ironic, but it's such a cool thing that I can go through life and know that my brother's, beside me, and he's pretty much going through the same sort of shit in a different way. So yeah, like this is a brotherhood and a friendship that I cherish, and thank you, man. So guys, enjoy your Christmas, enjoy time with your loved ones, and we'll tune in next week.
Later, my brother. Take care, man.
See you
See you,
guys.
everybody.